Greetings, gentlemen and ladies. Welcome back. This time, the Watcher gets her time in the spotlight. The rules are simple. All Calm cards, Wrath cards, Divinity cards, and any potion or relic that would otherwise change our stance are not allowed. Now, whilst that is challenging, I had a few suggestions that we include the heart in this next challenge as well. Now, you might be asking yourself, how is this even possible? Without the ability to go into any form, won't the heart just send us to the Shadow Realm? However, it is possible. We've already completed 2 difficult challenges, and we aren't about to stop there. So sit back, get yourself comfortable, for it's time. Time to climb. Climb time! This time, we are presented with 4 options. Choosing a card, 3 potions, removing 2 cards for our gold, and exchanging relics with a boss. Without any idea as to how we were going to play this, the safest option was to just pick a card. And out of the selection, there was only one we could realistically play. Just lucky. I've not got much experience with scrying, but maybe today's the day we learn. Floor 1 has a couple of slimes. We take care of the small boy and slowly but surely defeat the larger one, taking 5 damage ourselves. 3 paths now present themselves: Bowling Bash, Sash Whip, and Weave. All good choices. I was leaning towards Bowling Bash, but with the Scry card we just picked up, I decided on Weave. Our first question mark event gives us the option of upgrading a card permanently or exchanging a curse for a relic that upgrades cards during combat. The knowledge that battles were probably going to go on a few turns at least, I chose to gain the relic. Next up, we have a Cultist. The pain begins. Outside of that, the turns are filled with strikes and defense, taking 7 damage from this encounter, plus 3 from the curse. Moving on, we have a Jawworm, and pain in our starting hand yet again. Weave, strike, and defend were all necessary, and looking back, scrying here with 8 cards remaining was a small misplay, as it would increase our chances of drawing it again, but we get lucky and finish him off. We pick up yet another scry card, Third Eye. Hey, that rhymes with an even bigger slime returned on our next question mark event, where we start to find our little combos with the scry cards. We hold off on pushing it too early, feel 3 more points of pain before finishing the split slimes off. We get a swift potion and a cut through fate. A smile can clearly be seen showing on my face as our deck started gaining semblance. Now was our first elite, Spires. We needed to focus on getting one down fast. Pain is naturally in our opening hand, where we are forced to play through it. We play a 5 attack combo, which means taking 5 damage from the curse as well. Get beamed for 9 before taking down the first sentry. Now was just a waiting game. Many turns were had here. We ultimately take 9 damage before only the last sentry remained. We scry our curse, and finally finish it off. Our relic reward was Mummified Hand. This wasn't helpful in the slightest, and made the fact we lost 24 health not feel great. The card rewards were no better. Floor 7 had us face off against the Looter. I was a little concerned with how little health we had remaining, especially here. Half our remaining health would be lost from his attack, and this darn curse showing up at the worst possible times. I really was regretting picking up these tongs. On the other hand, I can't tell you how great it feels sending it straight to the discard pile. The Looter goes down, giving us both a skill potion and a Nirvana. A huge relief washed over my shoulders. Whenever we scry, we gain block. This was the card we were looking for, and it would be this that would give the deck an identity. It also went hand in hand with a certain relic we have. Floor 8 has a Slaver, and with 12 HP remaining, I didn't want to take any chances. We skill potion, obtain the protect to mitigate his damage, he goes down without issue. Dex potion replaces the empty slots, evaluate gets picked up, and an ink bottle would be a great addition to the run as well. The first merchant of Act 1 was up next. With 304 gold, a few possibilities presented themselves. Frozen Eye sounds good in theory, effectively scrying the deck. Nunchucks had a certain line where an infinity loop could be established. An additional Nirvana certainly aided our scry, and all of the above could be mixed with potions. All were considered, but first things first, we remove pain. The total damage we took from this one curse was 17. Across 4 encounters? I had never been happier to see a card removed. After that, we simply pick up a Nirvana. The small lesson here would be that sometimes you have to make a decision to not spend all of your gold. We have 12 HP, so we took a welcome break next. With the heart in our sights, we step into our first empowered elite, Leguvulin. Leguvulin. Yeah. His buff was 2 strength. The plan was to set up our powers of block before we start our attack. We then draw potion after already spending 2 energy, get lucky with some well-timed scries, back to back, and he goes down without much of a fight. Tiny chest, the emerald key, and spirit shield. I love this card, but did we need it? I ended on the conclusion that we didn't due to how energy required we would be and chose to skip it. Our next question mark event offered us 2 random upgrades for losing 14 HP. I should not have taken this trade. Being at 11 HP and going into another combat is leaning too far into the Walking Dead here, which only gets confirmed with us going down to 7 HP off our first turn. Thankfully, we take the louse and jawworm down before any more damage is done to us and pick up 2 solid rewards, a power potion and another third eye. I was considering Wave the Hand for weak application, but 13 block for 1 cost is too hard to pass on. We enter the final rest point of Act 1. So far, so good. Though I didn't know for how long. Without being able to go into forms, we had a scaling issue. Defending is great, but if we don't find a way to deal damage soon, this challenge will be over. It was now time for the boss of Act 1, Hexaghost. We drink a power potion, and with the fact we don't have much damage, choose to battle him. Set up for next turn best we can, and now face his 18 attack. We Nirvana, Scry, and defend to mitigate it. Do some fancy weave dancing, and thanks to the smites, start to chip away at his 250 health. One of the bonuses to Scry was our ability to discard any burns in the near future, which not only saves us health, but also useless cards being drawn. The same turns get repeated, we mitigate his next 24 attack. Not long after that, Hexaghost was defeated. This fight took over 4.5 minutes. We really needed damage. If not for the battle hymn, I don't think we would have been able to defeat him. Fire potion and 3 interesting card rewards. I've never played with Alpha. It's very slow and costly to get started, but with our high defense ceiling, this could work. Relics were up next. Cursed Key, Sozu, and Astrolabe. I had no interest in getting more curses this run. I didn't want to lose the opportunity for fairy or duplication. Astrolabe was picked up. Choosing our 2 form cards, I prayed for no form cards in return, and it paid off. Battle Hymn. The card that saved us on this boss was now in our deck. Lesson Learned was great too, and Crush Joint was also here. And with that, Act 1 was now complete. We check the map, identify the question mark events to continue gaining our tiny chest stacks, and begin our ascent with the Shelled Parasite. With its 14 plated armor, weave dancing will no doubt be the play here. Yeah, maybe we get a few smites too. With our strong defense, we finish him off without taking any damage, picking up a colorless potion and another third eye. We then pick up a shielding relic, bet against the noodles, and teach the Chosen a lesson, upgrading our Nirvana in the process. Floor 22 has the Centaurian and his wife. Whilst we don't lose any health on this fight, I couldn't decide who I should attack first, so I went for both of them, just for her to heal it all up. In the end, we learned our lesson and upgraded our Alpha, which will now always start in our opening hand. We skip the card rewards, smith our Cut Through Fate, and face off against a Cultist and Chosen combo. I hover over Beta to gently remind myself what Omega did. Lesson Learned upgrades a third eye at the cost of 10 HP, and Omega annihilates the Chosen. Now, did we need another third eye? No, we did not. Did I take another third eye? You bet your little snacko I did. Our tiny chest activates on the next floor, gifting us Toy Ornithopter. This is a personal favourite of mine. Talking of relics, Molten Egg was up next. And out of pure spite from last week's challenge, I decided this would be what we sacrifice for our second heart key. Floor 27 has Triple Cultist, which is when it hit me. scrying and this alpha card, it's incredible. We focus more on getting lesson upgrades this time around, finishing the fluffy boy before his 18 damage gets through to us, and skip the card rewards. Now, an elite or a question mark event. Normally, this would be a no-brainer, but with the heart in mind and feeling safe with our defense, I made a risky choice. Stabby McStabberson, a very tough elite. Good solid blocking would be essential here. We drink our colorless potion, healing 5, and get a think ahead. Start our weave combo and set up our alpha. Next turn was filled with forming our defense, followed by more weave combos. I didn't have the energy to set up Omega without losing a lot of health, so scryed that away. Our hand was now filling up nicely with smites as we continued to weave and scry. Now, this run has already had some incredibly fun moments, but man, let me tell you, defeating Stabby without taking any damage, damn, that feeling was like no other. I have died so many times to you on these challenge attempts. Goodbye, sir. We upgrade Strike, Third Eye, and Defend thanks to Lessons and Paint, pick up a Text Potion, and a Sash Whip. The ability to apply Weak, especially with the heart in mind, would no doubt be required. This would be one of the best decisions I make in the entire run. We upgrade the whip to 2 weak, sacrifice 10 HP to the Chosen for an evaluation upgrade, and pass on the cards. Our first merchant of Act 2 was up next, and oh boy did he have some good offerings. With 363 gold, I contemplated the relics at first. They all had potential here. Master Reality is kind of okay. Wait, hold on. Alpha is 1 cost. Beta upgraded goes from 2 to 1. And then Omega upgraded is 60 damage every turn. And this would also apply to the smites we create. We pick it up, remove a defend, and swap a dex potion for a duplication. Remember this potion for later. We upgrade another Third Eye before the boss of Act 2 was upon us, the Automaton. As long as we could keep our defending, Omega would take care of the rest. That was my hypothesis at least. If we could confirm that, our deck would be able to enter its final form. We set up Alpha and weave on turn 1, take 9 damage on turn 2, and position our cards on turn 3. But wait, the Orb Minion might take our Omega. We get lucky, no, and play it on our next turn. Boom. His Deathly Hyper Beam was up next. It would deal more damage than we have health. And with this hand, things weren't looking good. Insight, however, pulls 3 scry cards, gifting us block all the way up to 65. This deck was incredible. A couple of turns later, and to add salt to the wound, we finish him off with a lesson learned. Skip the cards, and with confidence being high, we take the Coffee Dripper. Act 2 was now complete. I'd been so used to leaving bosses at 1 or 2 HP that I was in a state of disbelief. This time around, we would not let the confidence get the best of us.
Are you sure about that?
We cautiously examine the map, identifying the path that would be both safest and activate our tiny chest, and gently remind ourselves that we still have 1 key piece to pick up before we finish Act 3. We start off with the Darklings. It was here I began to make my mistakes. Lesson learned this time. In hindsight, of course, it wasn't defeated. I wouldn't let this mistake consume me though. We continue our defense before Omega finishes them off. Another duplication potion gets exchanged for our fire, and another weave gets added to the deck. Our Master Reality gets upgraded on the shapes, with us only losing 3 HP and acquiring a Protect. More block meant more safety, while we let Omega do the heavy lifting. Things were going really well here. I felt invincible. Floor 37 offered us a rare relic or a fight. I took it. I shouldn't have. We can't rest. 25 damage was incoming, and I have no defend cards. Why do I let confidence get the best of me? Whatever health we lose in this fight is going to remain constant all the way up until the boss, thanks to Coffee Dripper. Ink Bottle is at 7, so maybe? We Nirvana, battle him, and at the very least, we get a defend, which we pair with a Dex Potion, but we still take 18 damage. We block everything on the next turn, positioning our draw for Baylor, and even though we used our entire hand, we still took another 9 damage. We just needed to pray for our mummified hand hitting Smite here. which it didn't, so another damage gets through. What could possibly have been worth losing 28 health for? Hopefully something useful. Yes! 1,000 times yes! Fossilized Helix. This relic completely negates the first time we would take damage every combat. A huge pickup for the heart. We also pick up away from the hand for weak application with the donuts in mind. This random merchant hadn't anything I wanted, so we saved our gold for the next one. Floor 39 had triple jaw worms. We set up alpha, play a mix of beta, weak, and defend, apply omega, which allows lesson learned, upgrading the defend, before they get destroyed. With already having both weave and sash whip, we pass on the other offers, and have the choice of an elite or campsite. You would have thought after our health loss from the Orb Guardians, we would be playing safe now. But I can see the logic. We now have Helix, and realistically, our defending has been very strong. Turn 1, we third eye, being extra careful to have a solid second defending hand. Unfortunately, his 33 hit will take out our Helix, so we hold the protect. The next few turns is focused on setting up Omega, and with only taking 1 damage here, Nemesis goes down. He leaves us Sundial, a fire potion, and 3 cards, which we choose to ignore. The second Merchant of Act 3 greeted us, and he greeted us well. Orange Pellets, one of the strongest relics in the game if you have the 3 card types. Passive of clearing debuffs. On the heart, sign me up. And while we're at it, we pick up an establishment. The smites we add will now not only be upgraded, but also free the following turn. Filled with optimism, we tackled another elite, the Reptomancer. The plan was simple. Clear the daggers before they enrage, all whilst scrying our Omega. We prioritize not losing our Helix, so fire potion the front dagger. We then make a misplay. Weave plus smite would have been 22 damage here, so we lose our buffer. We block her next attack, set up our Omega while she summons more minions, and finally upgrade our establishment. I'll admit we got a little lucky at the end there. Centennial Puzzle gets picked up alongside a skill potion. We then get a pen nib, defeat some shapes, picking up another cut through fate, and start falling. We had to lose something. Alpha, battle him, or weave. Alpha was off the table, with my first thought going for the weave, but with how strong it's been for card draw with ink bottle, not to mention pen nib now, is there a world where we instead lose smites? Do we go all in on Omega? With the first challenge we did coursing through my veins, we said goodbye to battle him, but would this be enough to defeat the final boss and the hearts? I was unsure. Floor 46 held the more, and with his relatively low attacks, he was no match for our shielding. So much so that our Helix was still completely intact. Our cut through fate gets upgraded, and we move on to the next encounter. Triple jaw worms. After playing our first hand, it looked like we would not only lose our Helix, but 10% of our health as well. I opened my arms, fully accepting my fate. But Cloak Clask clutched a save. Thanks to Miracle being in hand, we gained 1 block, taking us up to 10, shielding us from the first attack, allowing the 7 to be mitigated by our Helix. Phew. A couple more turns go by, with our Omega finishing them off. As usual, we don't choose any cards, and with our tiny chest being on 3, we all know what the next question mark event is. And a very welcome surprise, via Vajra. More strength is always a happy addition. The final rest point, the final piece of the heart. Now, all that was standing in the way was the final boss of Act 3, the Donuts. Our opening hand had a very strong defense, and with Ink Bottle drawing another defend, we managed to fully mitigate the first hit. We start Weave Dancing, scrying the useless cards away, set up Master Reality and Beta for losing our Helix and taking 13 damage. 38 HP remained. Finally, we set up Omega, continued to weave, and desperately played Insight to get the extra block from Clasp. Omega does a huge chunk. The end was only a couple of turns away. We use our pen nib on the lesson learned, defend as much as we can on the next attack before Donu was in Omega range. We danced like a headless chicken, dealing 54 damage from weaves alone. All we needed to do now was end our turn. Donuts were defeated. Whilst this run had already taken a considerable amount of time, I was having so much fun. Not playing Scry before, it felt very controlled, and with the right manipulation, it had a high skill ceiling. But would it be enough to defeat the heart? Let's find out. We slot all 3 keys into the door and walk on through. A campsite greets us, where we upgrade our Nirvana. The merchant didn't have anything that I wanted to add, nor any potions to exchange. I considered Gambler's Brew for a moment, and Panacea, for remembering we had orange pellets. It was time for the Heart's Elites. If you haven't done this fight before, whichever enemy you have your back turned to will deal double damage. This can get out of hand. We set up our powers, and without any block cards, lose our helix. Next turn, we have them threaten 48 damage. But with a hand like this, it wasn't a problem. Nirvana, followed by Weave Dancing, and being sure that the next cards are ideal for us were the priority. We managed to attain enough block to mitigate the damage, just before yet another 44 hit was on its way. We weaken the spear and turn our attention to the shield. We had to pass our turn here and not use our fate. We had positioned the next card as beta. Drawing that now would remove our Omega chance altogether, so we take 8 damage. Then we weaken them as much as possible. Omega, get lucky, and mitigate all 42 incoming damage. After that, Omega finished them off. This elite before the heart could have gone either way, but thankfully we saved all of our potions and took minimal damage. We pick up the strawberry and another protect before the ultimate boss stood before us. We checked in on all of our relics, all of our cards, took a deep breath, and entered floor 55, the heart. Climbing 55 floors, no wrath, no calm, no divinity, no potions or relics. This was where it all ended, one way or another. We begin scrying, so we can attempt to defend its big attack. We get all the debuff and status cards before drawing a beautiful second hand. Scry away 3 status, and even with a skill potion, we don't come close to defending his 60 attack. Thankfully, Helix covers us. This time. Master Reality procs our puzzle, which gives us a well-timed week. We clear our debuffs thanks to orange pellets, set up Nirvanas and beta before using Miracle. A slight misplay. Talking of misplays, Duplication Potion does not stack in the way I was thinking it did. If you use both duplications, it will not duplicate one card 3 times, but 2 cards 2 times. It was a long shot, but regardless, we now deal 120 damage at the end of our turns. We use our second duplication on Cut Through Fate, clearing status again, before setting up our block. We defend this attack, deal 120 damage, defend its next one too, and another 120 damage. I Weave Danced knowing our life depended on it, before, you guessed it, another 120 damage. And before I knew it, the boss was at 119 health. This was it. All we had to do was end our turn, and with only taking 11 damage from the heart, the challenge of the Watcher beating Slay the Spire without using a single form was now complete. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this challenge was as fun to watch as it's been to make. If you've enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to follow the journey as we tackle even more challenges in the Spire. And, as always, stay hydrated.